I'm here in the studio. My name's Graham Evans, here with Damon and Alison. Alison, would you introduce yourself?
I'm Alison Daubney. I'm married to Robert Daubney, the youngest of 11 kids of Edith and James Daubney. And we were married in 1972 and did start off in Grimwade for 6 months and then moved to Northcliffe onto the Daubney farm. And we have 2 kids, 2 children, Matthew and Rachel. Rachel turns 50 this year and Matthew is 51 this year. Yeah, so yes, and we are about to become great-grandparents because Rachel's son Hayden and Kelly are expecting a baby in June.
Oh, fantastic.
So Rachel becomes a grandma.
Yeah, wow.
And so, yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Okay, good. And so Bannister Downs Dairy, that will be Matthew's.
Matt and Sue run that.
And Sue.
Yeah, Matt and Sue run that in partnership with Gina Reinhardt. Couldn't think of her name. Yeah, it's a quiet partnership. You know, everybody gets along fine and it's going well. And, yeah, it's a bit of a struggle at the moment. There's no rain and the dams are drying up, but it's affecting all farmers.
Yep.
Matthew was at home just before I left and he said he's checked out some dams out on the other side of Northcliffe and they're just a dirty puddle in the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's getting very desperate for
the poor old wreck oval has never looked so brown as it does this year.
We're desperate for rain. They've put oats in and we just have to hope we get rain before the seed dies. So a month, 6 weeks, and then the seed dies if it doesn't get rain.
Any day now, surely.
Yeah, surely.
Is it true that the Bannister Downs Dairy is going to be 100 years old?
They moved here. Edith and James moved here in 1924. Well, Jim Daubney came out first, and Mam followed with their only child at the time, Joan. She came out about 18 months later. But he came out in 1924, so Daubney's, or Bannister Downs, is 100 years old.
So he was a group settler?
Yeah, group settler on Group 121. They were Daubneys, Bashfords and Levertons started on a group. People would probably know where Collinses lived. And it's, you know, they started there and then the authorities were bringing out a whole lot of Scots families and they wanted to put them together. So they moved Bashfords, Levertons and Daubneys up to where we are now. And Bashfords and Daubneys were neighbours in the other block and they moved them and they were neighbours again. Right. So, yeah, they were there for probably a year, maybe 18 months, and then they moved them.
Yep. And so their second group settlement, was that there was only a couple of group settlements that were continuously survived as farms, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was that one of them?
It was just too hard and depression and then war and everything just happened and a lot of them just walked off.
Yep. And was that true of their one or?
No, the group settlement bosses who were organising it all notified them that they had to move. Because the Scots group about, I don't know.
Oh, yes. So but the second one was another group settlement that they moved to?
Yes. Yeah. It's just another.
And did that one survive as a continuous?
Yeah, Group 121.
121.
Yeah, that's where we are now. Yeah, Group 121.
And so that survived continuously?
Yeah, since then.
Okay.
But they were on the other block in 1924.
Yep.
And then just moved up the road, really. But they wanted to clear a spot for all the Scots coming out. And some people thought it was a good idea to keep them together and others thought, they're better off being mixed in with everybody.
It seems a little strange to my modern sensibility.
They were all together. So that was it. And they sorted out most disputes, I've heard, with fisticuffs. If they had a dispute, they used to meet at Leverton's Corner, which is just down the road from us. Because Levertons live there and it's a T road and that's where the Scottish groups used to meet when they had to deal with anything. And if they couldn't come to an agreement, they had a fight. The blokes would fight, and whoever won, they were right.
Okay, sounds very Scottish.
Yeah. So, it's been, there's good and bad years, but overall, really good. We love Northcliffe. This is home. And I don't know, I can't imagine anyone leaving, but as the young ones grow up, the
People do, but then they come back again.
Then the older ones move away. We'll probably be next. I don't know.
Yeah. So I know the dairy farming that they originally planned for the group settlements, they had problems with soil nutrients or something where the cattle were dying.
Yeah, Robert could tell you more about that. The different, what do you call it, vitamins and that stuff that wasn't in the ground, and they had to put it in.
So do you know if that group 124, wasn't it?
121.
121.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that move to another form of farming for a while they were solving the issue with the cattle?
No, you just had to deal with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you had your dairy cattle.
Yep.
No, you just had to keep.
So it was always a dairy. So hence the Bannister Downs 100 years.
Yeah, we've always been a dairy. We did go into beef, stud animals for a while, and we did run beef, but we started with dairy. Went into the stud beef and stud bulls and beef, and then went back into dairy, and we've been in dairy ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, haven't changed. Yeah, it's full on now. I used to milk at the dairy, and we were milking 800, and I could get through that. Yeah. Now they're milking 2,000.
Okay.
There's no way I could do that. Not anymore.
Yeah.
It's too many.
Your equipment wouldn't have been as modern, though.
Yeah. No, they're good. The team, the people that Matt and Sue employ, they're really good. And everybody works together, and that's what it has to be, because we can't exist without them. So it used to be a family farm, and the brothers and sisters and Mam and Pa, who are Jim and Edith Daubney, they were known as Mam and Pa. Their kids, there were 11 of them. They've been involved with the farm back then, but then they leave eventually, and then you have to start employing.
Yep.
And like Matthew says, it's Daubney Farm, it's Bannister Downs, but without people coming into work now. It's a family farm still, but just owned by the family. There's not enough of us.
Yeah.
And some of us aren't young enough to
do all the work
do
on
the
farm,
physical work
of course,
anymore.
Yeah.
And
now this is Robert's family, the Daubneys. So your family, what was your maiden name?
I'm Kemp. My name, mum and dad were Cecil and Jean Kemp in Pemberton, and they lived up near the golf course.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm the fourth of 9.
And
9 kids.
Why did your family move down here originally?
War service, land settlement. Dad was in the Second World War, and they allocated farms for ex-soldiers.
Yeah,
so
and that was in the Pemberton area, was it? Okay.
We finished up in Pemberton.
Ah.
Yeah, so I married the guy just down the road in Northcliffe. Yeah. So, we had 9, we still have 8 up and running. I've lost a brother. And in Robert's family, there's the 3 youngest. There were 11, and the 3 youngest are still going. And they'll all be here today, Robert, Val and Colleen.
Yep.
So they've lost a few of the family. Both lost our parents, of course. We wouldn't get to this age, and Mum and Dad on both sides still alive. Yeah. But we've had a good life. It's been good, and hopefully it keeps going, but we do need rain.
Now, how does a Pemberton gal meet a Northcliffe guy back then? What were the socialising events?
It was a dance, I can't think of the name, Jardy, just out of Manjimup.
Yep.
Yeah, met him at a dance out there.
What year would that have been?
He asked to take me home, and I thought, he seems all right. I sort of knew him, but I couldn't think of his name. And he knew me because I used to come to Junior Farmers. And and I was with nurses. There was a group of nurses that went, and we'd had a thing happen at the hospital, and we were debating whether we'd go to this dance. And they said, we have to go, we just go, all right? So we did. Then I met Robert, and he asked to take me home. And I said to him, look, we've had a thing happen at the hospital, so I will ask the girls if it's all right, you know, because we'd had a death at the hospital. And I said, I don't want to desert them. And I went and said to him, you know, this guy, I couldn't think of his name. I still didn't know his name. But I knew him, but I couldn't think of his name. And I said, he wants to take me home. I'm just seeing if it's... They said, yeah, go. We're fine. So they left, and as, you know, bye, see ya. And I walked out with Robert, and on the way out, he said, I think I'd better tell you, but I've got 3 other blokes in the car. And I said, what? And I looked, and... the girls I'd come with, they were, and I said, and they were going, and I thought, oh, I don't like this. I said, oh, you should have said that before. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You know, you'll be safe. And I said, yeah, it's all right for you to say that. Anyway, I thought, but I did trust him. Straight away, I trusted him, and I thought, oh, well, I could finish up in serious trouble here. And I think Dave Walters might have been one in the car. Dave, who else was it? I can't think. Might have been Robert Minchin. I can't really think. Robert would tell you who was in the car.
Yeah.
And, they took me home, and, you know, they sat in the car while he walked me to the door, and then we went out after that. Yeah. And that's how we met. 4 blokes for the car. But, you know, yeah. So, yep.
So that makes me wonder when both Dave and Robert met their spouses, was it also at old-time dances?
Or? Another one. I can't think who the other... There were 3 other, yeah.
Well, I call them old-time dancers. I guess they weren't called old-time dancers back then.
Yeah, we used to go to a lot of dances.
The dance.
There was dances all the
yes.
time in Northcliffe.
Or the town hall dance.
Yeah. The Jardee dances, were they?
I think it was the Jardee. Oh no, it was. I can't think at the moment which hall it was.
What were they playing? Were they playing rock and roll, or?
You know, quick step.
Okay.
The Gay Gordons and you know those.
Right. Yeah. Dance music.
The waltz and things like that. Yeah. Right into it. Everybody danced those sort of.
They still have at the Pioneer Museum, they have a chalkboard score, a dance card thing, which dance is coming next. And you'd have a dance card, and you'd...
Yeah, they had it on the stage, you know, on the boards. Yeah, you knew which dance was coming up. Yeah. No, they were great. Had a really good time, you know. And then, say 11 o'clock, they might play the rock music, and you get out there, and then it would have been twist and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the old twist and generally bopping around. Yeah,
because I know my mum. I'm guessing is around your age until she died. But she was fully into. Who was the rock and roll man? She was into the Beatles. Absolutely. She lived in Melbourne when they came to Melbourne.
Chubby Checker. Chubby Checker, Fats Domino.
Yep.
And then the Bee Gees and all those. Yeah, they were and Roy Orbison. They're great. That's the sort of music I have on my tapes
musicians.
in the car.
Yeah, I'd listen to that. No worries.
You must have seen a few things change in Northcliffe over that time. Although I've seen Northcliffe change very little in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Except for the environment.
The weather's the biggest. The weather is the biggest change, and I don't know if it's the Earth's natural cycle or it's climate changed by us because of the stuff we're putting in the air. I don't know. But
and you're talking about a less rain.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, when in Pemberton, when we went to school, we would get 70 inches easily a year. And on a bad year, you get 75. 1 year out of 10, you'd get 80 inches of rain. And now, even here, it's a good year if you get 45. And it has changed drastically. And it would rain March through to October, November. Now, I mean, I was checking the weather, the long range this morning, and that they're not predicting much rain at all until June. So things are going to get tough for farmers here. Well, for everywhere.
Yeah, and this is one of the wettest areas of Western Australia.
Yeah, rainwater, I think, is going to be the most valuable thing in the future unless we figure out a way of saving it when it does fall. We have wet winters here, but we're short of water. It doesn't add up. And
Water
we have
Corp aren't interested
water
in saving
carted
water.
to town. It doesn't add up. We have a good rainfall.
No,
How come we're carting water and now the first things that you'll notice that the curry trees will die. Their roots are right down in the ground and they chase the water table. So you start seeing curry trees dying and you know that this area will be in trouble. That will be a big sign.
It'll be a big fire hazard too if we've got dead curry trees.
That will be a big sign that this area it's just not getting the rain, and you can't farm, and we can't move further south to catch the rain. You can't. This is it. Once it stops, there's nowhere to go. This is just not going to be good farming land down the track. You know, in years to come, I don't know how they're going to save it and keep it, but yeah, that's a big problem for the future. I don't know what anyone's going to do. So, but we will get another wet winter and probably another wet summer, but they're getting fewer between. It's just settling into this. Yeah, there's not enough rain. And we are desperate at the moment, absolutely desperate.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary year, I think.
Then, I don't know, the school and volunteers around, they're changing a bit, the new generation. You know, and everybody walks around with the phone in their hand. That's a big difference, a really big difference.
It's one you'd notice a lot more if you lived in this major city, though.
Yeah, there is a lot of changes, and I mean it's all progress. You have to go with it, or you get left behind. I get left behind a bit on the technology side with phones and computers and all that, but. Yeah, if you use it constantly, you learn. But if you're not using it constantly, you can be shown something and then 2 weeks later when you need it again, you think, oh, what did they do? You get a bit lost.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, we're not brought up with it, and but yet we keep it all up here, you know. But then you got it's all new technology, but. That's life. It's
the 50s and 60s. I'm trying to think what would be the new technologies you would have been growing up with as a teenager.
We got TV in the 60s, 1960s, and I know there weren't many people in Pemberton. There were probably 10 ahead of us that got TV, and we had a pine tree growing out the front, and it was one that went up about 50 feet, and Dad said, when that pine tree gets to, I don't know, he said 40 feet, we'll put the antenna on and that's when we'll get TV. And he bought it, you know, like probably 3 months after that because he didn't want to wait. And we used to sit and watch the screen test.
Yeah.
We used to sit and watch the screen test.
Isn't it amazing?
And black and white, and you had 2 channels probably.
Yeah.
You didn't have any.
2 channels?
Yeah, ABC and... I know my brother and I, actually the brother that died, he was 19, Richard and I were watching TV. Everybody had gone, Mum and Dad were out and we were watching TV. And we picked up, never done it before, never ever after, Channel 7, a Perth station at the time. And we watched The Naked City. And I've never forgotten the name of it. And I don't know, it was a cops and robbers thing or something. I can't really remember it, but I know the name. And we watched it. And we were getting into the story, and then the snow started. You know, it was losing the pickup, and we never ever saw the end. But we watched it for about 20 minutes, and that was just Never happened again after that.
I'm going to have to look that one up now, the Naked City. That could be interesting.
We'd watch ABC shows here in Northcliffe and watching a murder mystery and you'd finally get to the whodunit, and the killer is...
Yeah, yes. That's not unusual to happen. Yeah.
And now we've got 5G at Windy Harbour.
Yeah, not on a long weekend like this weekend, though. You've got dismal internet.
Yeah. Well, no, everyone's in Northcliffe. 4 Northcliffe's 100th.
I think you're running off the same internet, though, aren't you, down there? Have you found the internet all right the last 24 hours?
Yeah, it was only here yesterday that it was slow.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were like a satellite tower to the Northcliffe
Yeah, I think
tower, and our internet started getting dismal about 5 o'clock yesterday and has been just terrible ever since.
Might have been doing other things. Maybe late at night I started to actually use the internet.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know. Too busy fishing.
You were fishing? What did you catch?
Abalone, the rose abalone, and a skippy, which I'm going to eat tomorrow. And we got a whole lot of what they call no good fish.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can make this hooked up this
Is that the
Malaysian.
snapper?
No, that's good fish. This is the no good fish,
Can't
the
agree.
parrotfish and the brim and
Oh, yeah.
some sort of cod. And you make a Malaysian karapok, which is mix it up with tapioca flour, like really grind it up. And after you fillet it, there's still a few bones in there, but you grind them all up. And then you make sausages, and then you boil them, they float to the top, and then you deep fry them, and it's a good way to eat every fish that you catch rather than, killing them and throwing them back. Like bouillabaisse, sort of.
Okay.
Anyway, we digress from Northcliffe's 100th, Bannister Downs' 100th, and so have you got anything in the exhibition, or have you come to see the opening?
I'll be here for the opening. I don't have anything in it. Haven't been painting for a while now.
I remember you used to paint. You're
Yes.
still painting?
Yeah, I am. I have changed to watercolour. I was doing acrylic, and when I went to Prague, stayed with Rachel last year for 10 weeks, I thought, well, there's a good opportunity to try watercolour. And it was great. I loved it. Went to a few workshops and everything over there. Learnt a lot because I could just paint. Not like out here.
Yeah, it's a
someone
great
in and out the
travelling
house all the
form
time.
of painting, isn't it? I'm always fantasising about.
Yeah, really enjoyed that, but I'd like to paint more. I don't have time. You don't just, I got a spare 5 minutes, run in and start painting. You have to.
That's
think
why I
about
do Tony's
watercolour's totally
art
different
classes,
to
because
acrylic.
that push once a week to
Yeah,
paint.
I'd like to paint more.
You going to Tony's this year?
Paint to
Tony's art classes this year? You doing
No,
them?
no, I don't. I won't. No, I'll just learn at home. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you did take classes, I was told, at some point from a Pemberton artist whose name,
John.
John Gard, is it? John?
I went to a workshop with, I went years ago. John, I can't think of his name.
He doesn't live near Ernie's, does he?
Yes.
Oh, I know the one.
Yeah.
His name will come to me in a minute too.
John, I can't think of his name. Yeah, it did take, he said, do you want to, I met him at a meeting, actually, and a couple of us, he said, do you want to come around and have a look at the paintings, and it went from there. He said, do you want, how are you going with your painting? And I've seen them in exhibitions, and do you want to have lessons? And I said, yeah, how much? and he said, well, just come for a couple of lessons and we'll see how you go. So I did, and I taught a lot. But he doesn't mess about. You paint, you put something on, and if you get the wrong colour and you put it on, you say, oh, God, I've got the wrong colour there. And he said, no, that's not the wrong colour. What are you going to do about it? He said, work it in, remove it, or paint over it. So what are you going to do? And I said, oh, you stand there and you think, he said, come on, what are you going to do with it? And I said, paint over it.
The story is told in our art classes rather infamously about you learning from him and him being there going, faster, paint faster.
Yeah, you don't mess about. Don't hold a post-mortem on a. He said, it's not a mistake, just use it. And he taught me to move faster and not, just get on with it.
Yep.
And but that's good when someone's standing next to you saying, come on, hurry up. But when you're on your own, you can easily sink back into the way you do things. You have to keep telling yourself, no, it's not a big deal, just do it.
Yeah.
That you have to
you
have to get past that yourself.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that, paint faster. If someone's standing there saying, get a move on,
yep.
You have to learn to do that yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, I learned a lot from John. John Duncan? No?
John Duncan.
Yes, John Duncan.
Well done.
Yeah, just got his name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We better. We'll definitely talk to you again one day. But yes, we better go and catch the opening of the exhibition.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you
very much for
Thank
that.
you
On such short notice too. You did really well.
Yes. Is it off?